I'm sort of interested in this with you saying like you do social media, you got social media presence and stuff. When did that start, and when did you start growing? Like, and how have you sort of coped with that?
It's a crazy story, to be fair. I started YouTube when I was about 16, maybe, and like it just never went anywhere. Like I went through stages where I'd upload like every few weeks for like 6 months, and then I'd get disheartened. Like a lot of it was I'm so like ADHD most of the time that if I don't get that instant gratification, I struggle. And I think for me, like I was way too focused on like I want to be this huge YouTuber. But then like when it didn't happen in 6 months, I'd get disheartened. And it would take me another 6 months and I'd go, nah, I should have kept at it. Then I'd start again. And it's just constant cycle. And it never got anywhere. I don't think about 1,000 subscribers in about 8 years, 7 years, something like that. Like I didn't even get 1,000 subscribers, and I was like spending good money on like videos. And I look back now and I'm like, not even bad. Like I look at them now and I'm like, they're not bad. So like, yeah, I was doing an all right job. I kept slipping in and out of it. And I think like normal working life was never for me. And I used to get so swept up in it. And like, I'd go through these like stages where I'm like, one video would get 500 views. I'm like, that's mad. The next one would get 20. And I'd be like, that's it. I'm going to work this job forever. I'm a failure. And then that would dishearten me to make any more videos. It was like, it was mad. And then I got quite a few followers on Vine when that came out, maybe like 14,000 at the time, which I was like, this is insane. And then Vine disappeared.
Oh, mate.
Which is shit.
Sorry, I got a phone call. A lot of people like capitalized and went from Vine to then start making Instagram videos and stuff like that. And I never did. I was just like, well, Vine's gone. That's it. Back to depression. Like, yeah. That's it. Back to work. And then like I kept having these ups of thinking that it was going somewhere and it didn't. And then I'd gone through this mad journey. I worked at this job that like made me just super depressed. I quit the job out of nowhere. I was like, no. I just stood up and I went to my manager. I was like, I'm just gonna go. She was like, oh, you feel ill? I was like, no, I'm just like I'm just done. I'm gonna go home and like,
not coming back.
Like I just felt like it was a lot. Well, I hated it, and I just went traveling. And just left with all the money I've got and went into my overdraft to just have a good time.
Sick.
And I was sat there in Hungary, realizing I'd almost lost the plot. I ran away. I'm like now like over -2,000 into my overdraft, over to this like student overdraft from the uni that I dropped out of. And I'm sat in Budapest, like I have no job to go back to. Like I have nothing. So then I remember about 6 months before that, the first place I ever worked was Zizi's, like a Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'd gone to eat there about 6 months before. And the manager there was like, I don't suppose you want a job? We're hiring. So I just dropped her a message. I worked there for like 2 years when I was like 16 to like I was 18, like a really good friend to the manager. I was like, I don't suppose that job's still going. She's like, yeah, you can have a shift later. And I was like, you have to give me a few days.
Yeah, whoa. I've got to recover. Like,
I'm hungry. I've probably done way too much, stuff.
Yeah, shit.
And alcohol. I'd lost the plot. Like I was absolutely lost the plot. And then I got back, and about a week after that, Jay, like TGF Jay, just came into eat in the restaurant, and I was like, "Oh, mad! Like your videos." And he was like, "Oh, like sick, man! Like appreciate that." And then we just got talking, and the person who introduced me to TGF was I won't mention, but he's a bit of a knob that I met at uni, and he introduced me to them because he used to make videos with them in the past, like, and he used to always big up to me, but like, oh, I know these guys are amazing. I think they had like 20K at the time. And I've never been like a huge TGF fanboy. I'm not going to lie. Like I would love Jackass and I always loved their videos. But then Jay came in and we got talking, and his food was delayed for ages. So we ended up talking for like 20 minutes, half an hour. I told him about this guy that like we had a massive fallout. This guy was like an absolute knob to me when we were in uni. And I told him about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we think he's a prick as well." And I was like, we fell out with him because he was like a leech and this and this. And I was like, oh no way, like that's crazy. And then he followed me on Instagram. Jay followed me, and he was like, I'll follow you. Like, we'll see if we can piss him off. Like, you should be in a video sometime. And then that conversation was it for like a year. We never really spoke. Like, he probably like replied to a few stories. Like, we kept like mild contact, but like that was it. He never really. He's a busy guy. Like, there's a lot. As I found out later on. But and then about a year after that, I was at work. I was like one of the biggest lows of my life. I was like, this is the first time I'd just not done anything creative, no YouTube, nothing for a whole year. I sort of felt like I was accepting my fate. Like I'd not been creative enough. I wasn't making music. I wasn't like doing anything I wanted to do, and I was just like depressed. And I was like, honestly, it'd been about 3 weeks, but it's weird because this time I was at ZZ's, everyone kept saying, "What do you want to do after this?" And I was like, "This is my last normal job now. If I don't make something of myself, this is my last normal job." And Jay messaged me and he says, "What are you up to?" I was like, "On shift." And I was like, "That's a bizarre message." Like, I'm at work, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll pick you up after." And I was like, "What for?"
Yeah, what the fuck?
And he was like, "I've got an opportunity." And I was like, he was like, "You at ZZ's?" "Oh yeah." Because then he said, "Are you at ZZ's?" "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Not for long." Ha 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 ha. And then didn't reply to me for like 2 hours.
Mate, that's exactly how I pictured JB, you know.
I'd told him like what time I finished, and I was like, I got to the end, I was like, "Is he gonna be here?" And then he just calls me out of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in the BMW at the back. I look like I sell heroin." And I was like, and I just got in the car, like we drove around for about 2 hours, and that was it. I quit my job the next day, like, and then I wasn't in any videos to start with because I did like one of those hide and seeks where I was like undercover. And obviously the TGF really kicked off in December for me. Like that's when we first started making a Christmas calendar. TikTok, I started making TikToks about 15th of December, just into like the TGF thing after we'd filmed the calendar as just something to do. And I uploaded like one video and I had like 10k followers from the one video, which because like people were just being like, "Oh, I've seen you in the TGF videos," and I didn't realize how powerful that YouTube channel is.
Yeah,
like it's insane. And to start with, I got a lot of hate from it because people are defensive over their YouTubers.
Yeah,
and I don't think they saw a new person and everyone's like, "Whoa,
who's
who the
that?
fuck are you?"
Yeah.
yeah." So like a lot of people were like accepted.
People are like, "Where's feeling, man?" Like, yeah.
Oh, God, my DMs are full of it. But like, like to start with, it was a bit rocky, and then I'd obviously been like from about November to December, we'd basically just been inside filming. I hadn't been outside. And I'd made this TikTok and I was like, that's the first time I'd seen anything happen. Like at this point, like no one had recognized me in public or anything. I was just this one video and I'd like 10k and I was like, what? From one video? Like people just recognized me from these TGF videos. I don't think I'd fathom the numbers. And then I went out for New Year's Eve and it was the worst experience of my life because it's like, imagine people start recognizing you a little bit from your own thing and they go, you get one or two here and there and it builds up. But this was like the maddest thing. Like I'd gone to this club and like the bouncer let me in and then I didn't have to pay for the cloakroom. And then like, people were buying me drinks. But then I got to this point where I felt like I couldn't have fun.
Yeah.
I like, even though they probably weren't, because so many people were coming up to me, I felt like everyone was watching. And like if I get drunk now, like
someone's
going home, like before the it was awful, and I had to like readjust. But I'm fine now. But like I had to just like completely readjust to like realize you can't go anywhere. And to start with, I'm maybe like egotistically was like everyone's looking at me. They all know their name, and it was like horrible. Like going to shops, I'd be like sweating. Like it's weird, and then I definitely got used to it quite quick. And it was something I think I always wanted. Like I think I always wanted that like a platform, and like so like I guess I just skipped a few steps.
Yeah.
I got this help up. I've been doing YouTube for like 8 years and no one's ever noticed me. And then Jay's gone, "Come here." Everything just happened and I was like, this is mad. Like, and then my TikTok sort of like kept going up. And I honestly, from the get-go, just wanted to build a TikTok to promote music.
Yeah.
I was like, you realize how powerful TikTok is right now in terms of the music. And like, I used to like my comedy videos on there. Now I just sort of just make the cringy usual TikToks. I just try and have fun with it. But I'm just using it as a platform to promote music, if I'm honest. Like I do enjoy it and I love the engagement and stuff, but I'm definitely there for the promotional side of it.
Understandably, I think.